the seatbelt ends. I didn't have any photo etch, so I ended up using the silver duct tape for air conditions. I just cut me a square off, just a little bit bigger than what the ribbon was I used for the seat belts, and it worked out pretty good. There's not much wrong with it anyways. It's not too far out of scale. And I used Duplicolor Bright Red with no clear coat in the interior to give it the vinyl look, or the leather look. And of course that's what the white is Duplicolor. And on the boot right there for the convertible top, it's the Duplicolor white. The fuzzy dice, I made it out of the smallest dice I could find in the jewelry department at Hobby Lobby. And of course I used the stainless rings to make speakers throughout the car. I got 2 round on each side in the back, and I've got a square one, and I think a round one up front in the kick panels. But all in all, this car turned out real great. Love those Gila wheels. I got those through from Chip and Lisa at Extreme Scale Detail, and I got the motor from them too. I got the 572 big block. I just get mesmerized with this car right here because, man, it is awesome. Of course, I blacked out the grill, and the last car show that I was at for one-to-one cars, up front on the bumpers of the 57, I have seen where they used to have the rubber bumperettes. There's a changeover kit that you can buy. I'm not sure who makes it, but you take those bumperettes out and you can put that kit in there, and it turns them into either a park light or a signal light, just like the ones that's in the grill. And of course I used Tester's signal yellow on that, and it just makes everything look just clean, taking those bumperettes off there. I left the V emblems off. That makes it look more cleaner. The vents up front on the front fenders, I painted over those. Let's see, I black washed in the door jambs again, and the trunk. That just adds that much more detail. It just makes everything look more real. But yeah, it turned out real well. And then I buffed the car out. I didn't even wet sand this one. I buffed it out with GM Professional hand glaze. Didn't use any compounds or nothing on it, and it turned out wonderful. Okay, let me go ahead and get this thing ready to stop, and we'll show you the motor here. Alright. I've not put my hinges on this one yet and everything, so okay, right there is the 572. I'm gonna try to get you closer where you can see. This iPhone that I video on, it don't zoom in or anything. I would use my new Android, but the Note 3, but it don't. It takes too long to upload a video from it, so I'll take it off the stand here in a little bit and we'll look at it closer. But yeah, this of course the radiator hose right there. That's some more braided line that I got from Chip and Lisa. Like I said, the engine come from this. The breather is the original one that come with the kit. I was having trouble. The motor was so tall for this one and so big that I even had on the radiator support right in here, I had to put switch it around and do a little bit of cutting to get it to fit that way, because the pulleys and everything hit. And I couldn't put a fan on it, so what I ended up doing is going through the parts box and getting a cooling fan and putting on there. And then, of course, I had to mount my battery out there too, because there wasn't any room for it whatsoever in the engine bay. But I think it looks pretty good that way. It's different. And then I just took a Sharpie and colored in the top of the radiator to give it the brass look. And I did leave the breather where you can take it off. I do have a pin in there in the middle of that carburetor where it goes right up through a hole in that breather. I drilled the holes out in the carburetor and put brass tubes in there. I got both fuel inlet and outlet on there. And I'll show you here in a little bit. I do have the return spring and the throttle linkage on it. One thing I did do, after I painted my valve covers, it filled in the lines. The lines is not too deep where it says 572 and then it's got the bow tie on the valve covers. It filled all that in, time the primer and everything got on it. So what I done, I just made my own 572 Chevrolet decals to go on there. And the distributor in the back, that's a HEI distributor. I didn't know if anybody made one whatsoever or whatever, so I ended up making one myself. I finally figured out how to do it, so it looks pretty good. Alright, if you can ignore the shaking just a little bit, I'll take this thing off this tripod here and we'll show you a little bit closer what the car looks like and stuff. Okay. Alright. As soon as it focuses. There we go. You can see the detail on the carburetor right there. And there's the 572 logos. I run the heater hoses. I didn't put the original heater parts on this car because I figured swapping the motor out like this that it would be like a resto mod, so they would just put like a vintage air or something in it. So so right here's what it looks like behind the radiator. That motor's close. I had to move the firewall back probably 1/8 of an inch, and it still hit. So that's why I had to do the fan shroud or the radiator support and stuff like it this way, which it works out. It worked out for the best. I'll turn this around here, and sorry for the shaking, guys. Alright, right there's the throttle linkage and the return spring, and you got the cable going into the firewall. There's a better look at that 572 logo that I made. I just love the way that motor looks. Thank you, Chip. I even put the small hose coming from the water pump into the intake. I put that in. Didn't have a water neck, so I ended up making one out of a piece of round styrene and a pin head. It looks just like one, so you know, whatever it takes, right? Alright, now let's see here. Let's get to the interior. Boy, this is going to be a long video. Alright, the interior. You can see right there that I've done my gauges. I just took what was on the decal sheet, and I just glued those stainless rings right there with glue that you use on your windshields, micro set, I think. Put that on there and fill that up where it looks like it's got a lens over it. Detailed the dash out just a little bit. I just wanted something that's sleek and clean, and man, it really turned out that that way I wanted it. So the shifter is a pin with a scratch box or parts box boot. There you can see the seat belt buckles. I used like a bright red flocking in the bottom for the carpet. It turned out real well. Really love the way this thing turned out. The chrome on this car was just immaculate. And then right there's I done the tail lights the same way with the tester's signal red. I used the stock exhaust. Of course, I painted it stainless like I do on all my cars. Got my own personal tag on it. Alright, now don't let me make you too drunk here with the moving and stuff, and I'll show you the rear end and the suspension and things. Alright, I had to lower the car quite a bit. What I ended up doing was drilling a hole through the frame in the very center of it and putting a piece of small styrene tube in there, and then putting a metal piece of piano wire, putting it in there, and that's what holds the wheels on. Had to notch out the oil pan just a little bit, shave some of it off, and it's got the cheeseburger headers on it. That's the second set I had to put on this car because I couldn't raise the front end up, it was so low. So and then back here on the rear end, that is my very first 4-link that I made, and I'm happy with the way it turned out. If I had it to do all over again, I probably would make it where it would stand out a little bit more, painted a different color, but other than that, I just love it. And of course you see the wires running in right there for the fuel on the fuel tank and stuff. And just to give it a look of brakes and everything through the wheels, I cut me some styrene out and made my own rotors and calipers. There's no detail on them or anything like that because you can't really see them that much, but as you can see through the wheel right there, it adds a little bit more to it. Like I say, I just love the way this thing turned out, and this will probably be as close as my wife gets to having a car like this, but at least doing it this way I can build her all she wants. So, but well guys, that's about it. This thing's run on a little over 15 minutes, and that's my last build for 2014. This is the Riddler. So and I will do, just as soon as I get time, I will do a year-end video of all my builds. I really wasn't going to do one, but